He just got done, but he might be tired. Yo, what's good, everyone? We're here with Black Clover chapter 10, 210, excuse me, I'm tired. And I'm here with Mr. Flame.
What's going on?
And we're here to discuss some Black Clover. I'm just waiting for some My Hero. So, any thoughts on the chapter in particular?
No, I thought it was a pretty good chapter. It seemed like everything down in the next chapter. Oh shit, sorry. And it seems like it's gonna it feels like this is gonna be the next two chapters are gonna be like where they're really gonna be pushing towards the conclusion of beating the demon. Maybe three chapters, and once again, Asta's at his limit. So I hope that maybe we see something with Asta where he goes down and the demon in the fifth leaf actually becomes more of a prominent thing when he loses consciousness or something. That's basically what I'm hoping for. But the chapter is pretty good. It was a good lead in chapter to what's to come with the fight.
My thing about the chapter in particular, I love the ending panel. It's not just Asta and it's Yami himself showing that he's gonna have a significant part in taking out the devil.
Yeah, he didn't really have much to do since he got there. Like he had that moment with the demon, but ever since then, him and Charlotte's the elf, that's in Charlotte's body have just been kind of on the sideline. So I'm kind of hoping. I think they're gonna get into that, and then maybe that's their out of that surrounding demon magic. I think that's what's gonna happen with Yami, where he's gonna create an opening because I think he said that his darkness magic or like his demon his dimension slash actually works on the guy's magic.
So I'm reading the chapter right now. My thing I'm noticing in particular is the fact that they're showing everyone Tabata. Oh, let me say welcome back, Tabata. Being off for a week. Gotta
Yeah,
take care of yourself. All mangakas should take care of themselves. But
that's a
going back
fact.
to what I was saying, facts. There you go. So going back to what I was saying, I appreciate how Tabata had was showing not just the first Wizard King, but Lich and how their friendship and how it blooms in particular.
Yeah, and I actually like that Pachu was like, I'm never gonna doubt their friendship again, right? Which is like a pretty dope thing to see. Um, yeah, and I like that. Lumiere getting into the arc. He had his moment, and that he had his moments, and he's still relevant. And ever since and Asta, got their next power ups, it just kind of felt like, either for like a chapter or two, they were kind of on the sideline, but now they're actually committing to the another part of the fight where they say, okay, we can these two, we'll leave these two to the demon. We'll deal with saving his friends, which is nice because I actually wanted those other fights to wrap up and get them moving towards the center, and it seems like that's finally happening.
I also like how I think it's like page 3 in the chapter it shows how Asta's black form is starting to take its toll.
Yeah, it's always been a thing where he like before he's like, okay, I can manage two transformations a day, then he'd maybe get a third one that but it wouldn't last long. But now it's kind of like he's been using transformation after transformation, and usually he got away with it for the most of the second part of this arc when they got back to the capital by relying on Mimuzo specifically. So I hope that if they get into uh, like the next part of this fight that Asta loses transformation before Mimosa gets there, and he's gonna then maybe we see something with the demon, or maybe for once we see Asta come up with a different plan where maybe he's not fully relying on his anti magic to get through everything, and then get healed up and repeat. Like bring something a different dynamic to the arc.
All right, so another thing I want to bring up is how the chapter I have no idea what page this is. Let me double check real quick. I can't even tell because it's freaking Japanese box. But besides the point, I like the panel where it shows Lich and Lumiere and how each of them affect the devil in their own way.
Oh, how so?
They kind of augment each other from the like the demon warrior sword, as we know when Asta first got it. He can use his friend's magic and then like send a slash with it. But with Lich, he's using the full power of the sword in particular. So he's not just taking their magic, but then he's also augmenting it with his own and then bringing it right back. And then how Lumiere is, because he has light magic, it affects the devil to its own degree.
Yeah, yeah. I thought that was pretty. I thought that was a pretty good combo of using each other's magic to basically do one spell.
And even going back what you were saying about how Patry was not going to denounce Lumiere and Lich's friendship. You even see it with the same thing with Raya in particular.
Yeah, and I'm actually extremely curious to see what will happen in the future with Lumiere. Lumiere, like how will Lumiere probably end up, you know, dead again, and how will Patry atone for his sins? Like it looks like half this thing is kind of like it kind of like it's like three stages of this arc where it's just kind of like they it's kind of like they do something they like the quote unquote good guys going in, they thought basically it showed that there was it was kind of surface level. Okay, if these are the bad guys, you got to take them down. Then we find out later on this it's kind of a gray area, and then we also learn at the end that it's actually not their fault at all, right? We learn it, and now they're the good guys alongside them. So it's kind of like right now for the elves, it's kind of a story like a story of redemption, and Patry and specifically Lip and Lumiere are kind of bringing the redemption to the elves for all what they've done, right? It's pretty dope.
Hmm. It makes you even wonder how much more of this arc is going to happen in particular, because of the whole fact that you see Asta and they're right there heart and center, while Yami is in particular with Elf Charlotte, the elf that's in Charlotte. He's trying to get there and do his own thing in particular, because I think it's going to be like a three-way front along with Lumiere and Lich. So Lumiere and Lich kind of like set things off in particular, while Yami comes in from like behind, and then Asta with the final attack, like or maybe, well, it would be Asta with push with the final attack, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's probably the most likely situation to go down. Yeah, and I kind of I can't help but want that. I want everyone at near the exit where the demon is, so everyone that's relevant in this arc at the moment sees that the proof that hey, this isn't this is more than just
Some other
like
shit
the
going on,
elves.
basically.
Yeah, there's some oh, yeah, exactly, because basically all the people in that base, one of them is going to become demon king, not demon king, magic emperor, like Yamilek, Leona, or no, not potentially William, but not even Fug, Nozel, Merliona, Yami. Those guys, only two of them, or yeah, I don't know if Nozel saw it, but only I think one of them only ever saw what was really behind all this. So um, it'd actually be a damn shame if none of them actually got to see the truth behind all of this. And honestly, if you and if the leaders of the Magic Knights don't see the truth behind it, how can they vouch for the elves, right? They can't. So
Exactly, because that just that. Yo, Valen, I appreciate that, man. I'm sorry to hear you super sick. We send our love and prayers to you and whatnot. And once again, I appreciate you coming through in the comments. So going off that in particular, what you were just saying, that's right, because especially let alone with the whole elf redemption arc in particular, and how in particular how these characters are going to enjoy themselves and get through this whole ordeal. I don't really know what I'm trying to say. Basically, what I'm trying to say is this: the whole ordeal is that at some point or another, whether Golden Dawn gets disbanded or not, the elves need some sort of redemption in the eyes of the other humans, because of the fact that they reincarnated into these well-known people in the kingdom, and they attack their own very civilians. And you can't, like, in a way, like, even if the king, despite his flaws, wanted to, he can't exactly like decree that they all, let's say, get beheaded.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that the true shame of or Julius's passing is that no one can really keep the king from doing something drastic and stupid. Well, because usually he could talk to him and reason with them, and then he'd be like, "Damn you, Julius," but he'd actually listen because everyone would trust Julius, not necessarily the king. So the after effects of this arc are, I wonder how they're gonna manage to actually sell it to the people that the real issue with the real enemy was more of a demon, right, that they haven't seen yet, rather than the elves, and which is why I want everyone to go to the door, and then the fight to finish off outside of the palace of the base, so everyone sees the demon themselves. Like, because most of the relevant citizens of the capital, most people will see it, and in the capital, and then all the magic knights that are still visible will be able to see it as well, right? So if there's witnesses to what's happening, then it's better than not having any witnesses at all, right?
Exactly. I think that's definitely proof of the fact that the demon should definitely get away. I'm not too sure on the particulars of how, like, other than, like, I don't know, like some, like it'd be some like perfect stealth shit, like there's like a mouth within like the very minute cell in the demon's DNA. I really don't know into the particulars, but it's definitely proven entirely of how this demon could very well get away and then have not maybe not a final arc, excuse me, but like a time skip of some sort where the demon, regains his power and goes against them. Because you got to think, if this demon does get away, fundamentally speaking, if the demon does get away, survives this ordeal, and then comes back, maybe not stronger than ever, but just as strong as he was, it go to show that this time Asta and Yuna, or even Asta alone, could go against this demon and be on par, just like the first Wizard King, Lumiere, and Lit.
I wouldn't say that with them being on par yet. I think all of them have a means to fight against the demon in some way, and I think Austin and actually came up with some relatively crafty ways on how to damage and fight against his magic. But I'm still relatively skeptical of anyone being able to solo the demon. I don't think anyone could solo or duo the demon. I think he's just that strong and just that versatile. Like, in some regards, their magic will work against them, but I think the demon has more of his sleeve than the rest.
Okay. Any any predictions in particular of every just from this chapter alone? I don't know if it's like too early to say, because I like how they're integrating, like you still see like everyone else who's at the very bottom of this palace, shadow palace, seeing the demon's magic, and a lot of them in particular are stopping their fights with the other elves because they didn't know what was going on before. Only those that were in the main room know.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how do you think it's gonna go down? Like, 'cause I don't know. I can't really visualize how else they could they could sell it to the citizens and the general public that a demon was behind the catastrophe at the capital and across the country, rather than elves that were visibly seen and claiming widely and proudly to the world that there were elves and this is revenge against humans. Like, I don't see how they could sell it to the people without them actually seeing the demon themselves.
I personally, I can't really explain at the moment, because that would have to be something that's well thought out in my personal opinion. But I think one thing in particular would be that, wasn't it like a couple chapters ago when we got Asta's Black Divider? Didn't his 5 leaf clover clear up?
Like, you mean like the five leaf clover on the grimoire, like becoming more
Yeah.
visible?
Yes.
Um, honestly, I don't. Maybe I actually don't remember, to be honest.
Okay, well, I'm gonna headcanon it until I can go back and find the exact panel. But going off that, so I think it did, or some shit, when he decided to put forth all his effort into doing that new spell of his, in particular, Black Divider. And so I think that cleared up his grimoire. So going off that in particular, I like to think that, people will start to notice his book, and like in the very first chapter, it even tells you, what the fourth leaf, not what the third, fourth leaf represents. And so going off that, you get the fifth leaf. I feel as if that a lot of people would know that, yeah, I'm gonna stop what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm gonna post the chapter in the uh link that I'm gonna post it in the comments because do that right now. Oh, so going off what I'm saying, I apologize for the tangent. I'm just tired. It's like 3 in the morning. I got to get up at 7 for an appointment. So going off that, I feel like proving that once people see what his chapter, not chapter, what his book is, you see that, oh, okay, so his book is a fifth leaf grimoire, and that represents it being a demon inside of it. And if there's a demon inside of it, it means, in a way, maybe not maybe not prove that there's demons in the world of Black Clover, but you could kind of headcanon it, I guess. You get what I'm saying, Mr. Flame?
Yeah, I get you, and it is a reasonable conclusion that there is probably a demon race out there because there like, now it's proven that there are two demons, that actually exist. One that's in Austin's grimoire, and one that's visually outside and with his own five-leaf grimoire in hand. And maybe it's just that the demon hasn't possessed. He has his own way, and maybe he has to possess the owner of the grimoire rather than you know doing something else or possessing someone else or something. So it's I don't I honestly don't honestly with Black Clover I'm a little interested in how he'll there's a lot to go how there's a lot to go off of, and I wonder how he'll end up finishing this arc because there's a lot going on, and I wonder how it's just like, is there a clean way of just doing it? And I honestly I'm not really sure if there really is.
I don't think there's necessarily a clean way, but I think the most efficient way to do it is like I think like in particular, like I mentioned before, either whether it's Golden Dawn getting disbanded or something, but I definitely think they're gonna have William accountable for that. Maybe not the other Magic Knights in particular, because there's way too many valuable people, let alone like a military, because you got to think of it like a military sense. A lot of people getting accounted for. That's why I say even if the king wanted to like behead all the Golden Dawn, and I know it's not just Golden Dawn, but all the people that went against their own kingdom, they technically couldn't. The king couldn't even do that because that's like in a military sake. You can't just like decapitate a whole platoon just because they disobeyed orders. But what I think they could do in particular is just have William in particular accountable. I don't know, jail sentence or some shit. But he'll have to, in a way, repent not just for his sake, but for Patri's sake. That's why I think, in a way, I think Patri will still remain within William even after all this shit's over. Because you got to think William, because Patri was like the first one to awaken as a reincarnated elf.
Sorry, I was kind of like doing something. I was looking at these panels. With I think there's a good chance that a lot of these elves remain like somewhat a part of the people it possessed. Like that would be a very dope way to try to somewhat keep the elf race alive, but not 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 getting around the resurrection wall, because I don't see any way you can the keep the original characters and then keep the elves at the same time without them being somewhat uh how do I say it, like they're gonna have the whole William Lick thing going on where like one will be awake, but sometimes another one will be awake, and it'd be a very it'll be a relatively interesting thing to
Dynamic.
go
I
off.
kind of get
That
what you're
dynamic, yeah.
saying.
Yeah,
So
but it'd be
going
hard to
off
execute.
that in a way, because that would be a way. Oh, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say it'd be extremely difficult for him to to execute, I think.
I think it would definitely be executed too, but I have faith in Tabata and his writing in particular. And even going off that, that in a way could also, because Asta has the same dream as Lick and Lumiere, and how he wants both races to coincide. So what better way to have both races coincide with then have the original humans come back to their bodies and whatnot. But let's say like the elf version of those characters in a way kind of still remain in a certain way. Maybe not personality wise, but like certain traits. Going off that in particular, like even with Elf Luck being related to Elf Charlotte is like an interesting dynamic to me. So you if you go off that in a way, kind of like how even in this chapter Elf Charlotte's kind of like being a tsundere to Yami, kind of just like leave those traits in particular.
Yeah, like to some degree, it kind of feels like the elves that possessed the people like the elves and the people they possessed have similar personalities, and it's kind of
Yeah,
almost like they're all reincarnations of those elves from hundreds of years ago.
yeah, like they'll still live on within those people, but they still have to, move on because they're dead and gone. But people who resemble them will take after their personality traits, like kind of like in a way, Elf, not Elf. Well, after Elf Luck was defeated, Locke said that he still kind of can retain how he used his mana in a way. So kind of like that. That's how you can process yourself in particular
Uh,
and grow as a person. There you go. That's what I was trying to say.
yeah, oh man, like I'm somewhat worried for Tabata. I don't know how he closes this out. Like even like I don't know how he closes this out well. It's gonna be because
Like, let me ask you this. I mean, what would be the worst way of him closing this out, if I must say? Like, what would be like so like outlandish that you would? I wouldn't say lose faith in Tabata, but just you just I don't know what to say.
um I would be disappointed if anyone but Mira Leona becomes Magic Emperor. I would be disappointed if the all any and all elves are completely gone and William loses his captain rank and this gets thrown in a prison of some sort. I'd be also disappointed if the Golden Dawn gets disbanded without a new when a new captain could just retake its place. And I'd also be disappointed if not all um if there aren't promotions or like things in mind that I made in mind also without like like a few chapters that don't go over and like show the results of what happened and the Clover Kingdom after the disaster, rebuilding and explaining the whole situation, making sure everything is fine, as well as just trying to restore order within the capital and across the country as well. Like I think this arc has should it seems to me that it should have major implications on what will happen in the future of Clover Kingdom, and it would be a damn shame if he limited himself to just clean answers when there should be a gray area for exploration with like for like the elves and William and Patri, and as well as some things with who will become emperor. There should be it should make everything should flow, and also it should also like there's some conflict, but the whole elf thing kind of leads into Asta's plot as well, where he's like, I want the elves and humans to live together, and why can't we understand each other? So if there's no elves around, how can they understand each other? It's just gonna be like, oh, they're gone, but they must have been involved. Even if the Magic Knights screamed from the rooftop that it was a demon, everyone's gonna be, oh, they know the demon, all the Magic Knights, they were possessed by the elves too. They don't know what they're thinking. So I'd just be disappointed if everything isn't set up logically, and if it doesn't flow well, and there isn't a way to explore the after effects, as well as the healing, and the like bring and the consolidating of the Clover Kingdom's races, troops, and citizens afterwards. That those are just things that I'd be disappointed if Tabata didn't do, and I would lose faith in him if he didn't clean this. He didn't if he didn't that close out this arc and make a clean transition into what happens afterwards and try to fix it, talk about the after effects.
Yeah, because going off that, I was thinking about particular people. So like let me think. Like I was thinking like what's gonna happen with like Riot or what's gonna happen with the other fauna and then Veto. Because I mean, even though they're in artificial bodies, I'm sure they're gonna stay in particular. I don't see why not.
Yeah, yeah, because the other fauna and Beto, like they were basically sacrificed for people to come back, but they were so the people that they were sacrificed for, I think, got off screen, right? So
They're
I don't
back.
know.
You talking about Sally, the dude with the spatial magic, and then you're talking about the nigga with the zombies.
Oh yeah, but who was the third person then?
How was Sally?
No, like
Huh.
how did they bring back Fauna and Beto? Because I don't think they used those guys. I don't think they
I
used those
don't
guys.
remember at this point. I gotta reread. But I
Yeah,
remember it was like something like that. It was something like that.
because Fauna and Beto came back just shortly before they raided the base in the capital.
I'd have been lynched. To be perfectly honest, because I can't. I might actually have to reread that because now I'm questioning myself. Well, but I know in particular, like they're gonna stay around. The zombie nigga, the spatial magic guy, and Sally, because they wasn't affected by it either. But I'm definitely curious, like about an interaction with El Fauna if in her artificial body if she stays, other fauna in Mars. I'm just gonna be intrigued by that shit.
Yeah, the the whole thing with this Fauna and Beto, I think all the key players with regards to like Licht, Patri, um, Beto Fauna. I don't know if Rial will stay. Hopefully, he doesn't die. And probably like all the other elves that were around, and some of the more prominent characters after they possess them. I think those should stick around some in some way, form, or in some regard, because that'd be a good cast to build off of. With and also to work with, because they all and like because some of them, if not most of them, had interactions with many of the key players in this arc. So yeah, it'd be nice if we could have our cake and eat it too, in a sense where we get to see the elves live and also see them in the future while keeping the characters that they possessed as well. If there's some way to do that, I'd be delighted.
All right, all right. Any final closing statements about the chapter in particular we didn't talk about?
Oh yeah, it was a 10 out of 10 chapter. I was thinking 11 out of 10, but a little too soon. So yeah, 10 out of 10 chapter, regular by Tabata, no problem.
All right, and we closed it out like that. And I think everyone should have a good one. Once again, Valen, have a good one. Enjoy yourself. Get
Get well
stronger,
soon.
man. I want you to talk about Pokemon Masters. I'll come through for that stream. I was going to, I want to, but I said I'm going to wait for Valen, but I didn't know you were sick, man. But you have a good one. Um, I suggest for everyone that watches this, read Ebony Clover, give it a chance at least. Like and
Yep.
subscribe. Check my Discord out. It's in the description, and we out.
Peace.